when you talk about getting to Denmark, America, it seems like it takes an extra decade or two to get through these things. If you look at gay marriage and you look at cannabis regulation, we're so far behind on these things, and then it tips at a certain point.
No, this is what gives me such hope about America.
Yeah.
That for all the failings in America, there is absolutely a willingness to change. Cannabis,
we're in agreement.
Not legal in Denmark. Not legal in Denmark.
Not legal in Denmark?
Not legal in almost all of Europe.
That's crazy.
Portugal and in Holland, these things, there's either decriminalizations or full-on legalization. It's not legal anywhere else. And this has happened in the U.S. in a very relatively short amount of time. And this is what gives me such hope and why I agitate so lively for all these advantages.
Yeah.
I know America can do this. And I know it particularly so because, as you said at the top of the start of this, is America is uniquely rich. You look at GDP per capita,
Bonkers.
America just trounces Denmark. It's more than 20% higher GDP per capita in the U.S. than it is in Denmark. The money is here. It's just being spent very poorly. 18% of GDP spent on healthcare, bonkers. Right?
It's bonkers,
the fact that the federal government can't provide these services is simply just a factor of taxation. The U.S. collects something like 17% of GDP in taxes. Compare that to France or Denmark, and it's in the mid to high 40s. Literally in Denmark, we collect 3 times the amount of GDP per capita to provide these basic services to society. And what do you get? You get Denmark is literally number 2 on the list of happiest people in the world. Number 1 is Finland, which has a very similar system to Denmark, right? And the U.S., I think, is 19.
And if you just think about, like, also when people get pregnant and have babies, you get time off paid for by the government or by companies. How does it work?
Usually it's a bit of a combination, but that's a great point because this is really all of the Western industrialized world has paid parental leave. And the U.S. has none. Like literally 0 weeks assigned in general worker protections. You go to a place like Denmark, you get 6 months off at full pay, and then you can take additional time after that at reduced pay. And you're like, I mean, I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Well, we have 3 kids. And having gone through that, I can't even imagine someone who has only like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
From when they have a kid until the wife has to get back to work, or the partner who had the kid has to get back to work. You go like, Jesus, that is just inhumane. And why? Why do we need that, right? So that's one area where I'd actually give tech some kudos, that there's been some movement here on policy, that a lot of tech companies actually have quite generous parental leave programs now. Obviously, that should just be a societally
it should definitely.
And also,
I
should actually say, tech companies have these wide, generous policies for their treasured unicorn employees, their engineers, their designers, their project managers. They're not exactly giving these benefits out to their gig workers or their call center staff or any of the other worker areas of the economy.
Perfect